Kill them all.
Hello and good day to all the Borderlands fans out there. Now that the massively popular video game franchise has released a live-action adaptation, everyone's on the edge of their seats to see what they do next. The recently released trailer for the movie left a frenzy in its wake, and now, with the premiere, fans are absolutely losing it. This highly anticipated film featured big names such as Cate Blanchett, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Jamie Lee Curtis, Bobby Lee, Haley Bennett, and so on. However, one of the most anticipated roles belongs to Edgar Ramirez, who plays Atlas, arguably the film's primary villain. This is where things are set to be a little different because this character doesn't actually exist in the games whatsoever. We have the Atlas Megacorporation, which deals in arms across the Borderlands universe, but no individual with such a name exists in the games. It's possible that the filmmakers are trying to add a personal touch to the movie and add a greater element of intrigue, which is why they created Atlas as a person who owns the corporation named after him. This is quite a bold move on the part of the director to introduce a new character because the original villain of the games, Handsome Jack, was so popular among fans of the games. Edgar Ramirez has big shoes to fill as he takes on the role of the most powerful person in the Borderlands universe. So, without further ado, let's glance through the details of the film as we know it and explore the character of Atlas. But before we move ahead, this video will contain spoilers from the movie, but don't worry, we'll mention when they come up, so feel free to skip those parts if you haven't seen it yet. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Help you can get. Because it's on the weirdest, most...
What's the movie all about? As per Lionsgate Studios, this movie focuses on a ragtag group of adventurers who team up to search for the daughter of the universe's most powerful SOB, Atlas. Lilith, played by Cate Blanchett, is an infamous bounty hunter with a checkered past who reluctantly comes back to her home planet of Pandora, the most chaotic planet in the entire galaxy, and her mission is to find Atlas's missing daughter. She soon teams up with Roland, played by Kevin Hart, a ruthless mercenary who's in search of redemption, Tiny Tina, played by Ariana Greenblatt, a preteen demolitionist, and Krieg, played by Florian Montiano, who serves as Tiny Tina's protector. They also have oddball scientist Dr. Tanis, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and Claptrap, voiced by Jack Black, as their wise-ass robot companion. They make up an incredibly chaotic team, and in their journey to find Atlas's daughter, who, by the way, holds some form of unimaginable power, they have to fight with dangerous aliens and bandits and explore one of Pandora's best-guarded secrets. In the process, they'll have to potentially save the universe and each other. The information we've received from the studio about the plot of the movie doesn't reveal a lot about what's set to happen, especially considering there have been very few new introductions, but fans are nevertheless excited. Kevin Hart has remarked on how the movie explores the same visual aesthetic that sets the games apart from many others. The stellar graphic novel style of art direction is something that makes Borderlands unique. The colors are bright, popping, and vivid, full of neons that attract all kinds of game enthusiasts. Janina Gavankar, who plays Commander Knox in the film, is a huge fan of the game, and she's commented on how close the art and production design is to the original. Down to the sets, costumes, and overall production, the filmmakers have worked quite hard to bring out the intergalactic appeal of the games into the film, which is probably what the fans are the most excited for. The release of this film could potentially generate a new legion of fans for the Borderlands franchise. As already mentioned, the cast is full of big names and naturally expectations are soaring. Cate Blanchett is a seasoned veteran in Hollywood and has proved her expertise across all sorts of roles. She also worked with director Eli Roth in The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Her character Lilith is the one the fans are looking forward to the most because they're keen to see what Blanchett brings to the role. Lilith is one of the central figures in the movie, but it's hinted that she has a rather unsavory past which she tries to hide, and her return to Pandora is less than enthusiastic. The two-time Academy Award-winning actress will certainly be a visual and cinematic treat in Borderlands. Kevin Hart is a name synonymous with comedy, and even as we speak, you're probably imagining him in his legendary role in the more recent Jumanji movies. Well, get ready to discover him in a completely new light because in his role in Borderlands, he's nothing short of hardcore. The actor underwent rigorous training in strength and weapons to bring authenticity to the role of Roland, who is a trained mercenary. Director Eli Roth has commended Hart's sincerity in bringing out the best in him for the film, and we're so excited to see him play the role. Ariana Greenblatt is fondly remembered for her role in Barbie, and she mentions how her co-star Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn helped her create the persona for Tiny Tina. The film describes her character as a feral preteen demolitionist, and we can already imagine the angst and drama she would bring to the role. After all, we've all been preteens at some point, and the urge to rebel against authority is something we're all familiar with. Florian Munteanu plays Krieg, who doesn't seem to have a lot of lines, and as such, his character's main task is to make sure Tiny Tina is safe. Where did this little girl find a muscular-bound protector, and why does this huge monster of a guy take orders from her? You'll have to watch to find out. Jack Black is no stranger to live-action adaptations of popular video games and will be lending his voice to the role of Claptrap, the sarcastic robot who accompanies the group. He's already worked with both Eli Roth and Cate Blanchett, as well as Kevin Hart in the past. Fans are hoping that the camaraderie of the actors creates a happy tension in the film. Academy Award winner Jamie Lee Curtis is set to bring whimsy to the role of Patricia Tanis, a scientist who has a tenuous grasp on her sanity. And finally, we have Edgar Ramirez, who is set to be the antagonist of the film, playing Atlas, the most powerful figure in the film. He asks the group to find his missing daughter, who holds the key to unimaginable power. Ramirez has talked about his role, saying that the movie is very whimsical and funny with a 70s hangover feeling attached to it.
Okay, let's go.
Hey.
The plot of Borderlands. Well folks, this is where the spoilers start, so if you're yet to watch the movie, please skip to the next part of the video where we talk about Edgar Ramirez's character and portrayal. The film begins with Roland, a now rogue mercenary soldier, seemingly kidnapping a teenager known as Tiny Tina on the planet of Pandora. He's assisted by a somewhat cool-looking gas mask-wearing guy called Krieg, who is a supposed psycho and was institutionalized. After this happens, Lilith, a bounty hunter, is contacted by Atlas, who's a powerful corporate magnate. Lilith happens to be on the planet Cytheria at the time, and Atlas tasks her with locating Tina and bringing her back to him, stating that she is his daughter and was kidnapped by some rogue members of his corporation. Lilith is less than enthusiastic to return to Pandora, where the action is set to take place. Although she was born on that planet, she had supposedly left when she was quite young and never went back. But a girl's gotta make money, so she accepts the assignment and heads back to her home planet. As she lands, a robot named Claptrap is seen waiting for her. Lilith is annoyed to be stuck with this character, but the mono-wheeled junkyard robot doesn't leave her side and acts as sort of a guide. With Claptrap's assistance, Lilith is soon able to locate Tina. However, it's possible that Lilith expected a meek little girl, so she was quite taken aback to see that Tina is a skilled demolitionist with an army of plush toys rigged to explode in action. Of course, the bounty hunter just wants to get a hold of the teenager and take her back to Atlas, but this is where things change. It appears that Tina has teamed up with Roland and Krieg and therefore wasn't technically kidnapped at all. The latter has even assumed the role of her protector, although the reasoning behind his motivation is unclear. Action ensues, as Lilith wants to take Tina back to her father, the job she accepted, but Tina doesn't want to go back. Roland and Krieg take on Lilith before a big revelation. It turns out that Tina is an Iridian and holds the power to open the vault on Pandora, which contains treasures beyond imagination. Iridians were an advanced race that once ruled the galaxy, and their vast knowledge and weaponry and technology is all hidden in the vault on Pandora. It's said that a daughter of Pandora will one day open the vault and finally restore peace and order to the planet, which has now become a decimated wasteland. Mining corporations have taken over, there have been wars, and the planet is essentially a heap of debris and industrial waste. Thugs, lowlifes, vault hunters, and ferocious monsters inhabit Pandora, and the cherry on the cake is the Crimson Lance Militia, which ensures law and order with an iron fist. Essentially, Atlas believes that Tina, due to her Iridian blood, can open the vault on Pandora, which will obviously make him even more powerful than he already is. Heck, he might even become the ruler of the galaxy. As Lilith realizes Atlas' plans are nefarious, she teams up with Tina, Roland, and Krieg and decides not to complete her mission. However, they're soon attacked by the Crimson Lance, led by Commander Knox. Oh, did we forget to mention that Atlas owns the militia? That's a small detail from the games that the filmmakers didn't change. The group is then joined by Dr. Tanis, who used to be an associate of Lilith. She shows Lilith a picture that she had drawn when she was a child. It was a firehawk, an Iridian goddess with flamed wings. An old recording of Lilith's mother also appears, who tells Lilith about her true destiny. We also come to know that Claptrap the robot was a measure taken by Lilith's mother to make sure her child would be safe. Anyways, Tannis joins them and mostly serves to warn them about the impending danger every time things are about to go south. They must also locate the vault keys which are necessary for opening the vault. All this while, the team is pursued by Commander Knox and there are many action scenes. Lilith slowly realizes that Atlas could have possibly lied about her relationship with Tina, and while this isn't explicitly mentioned, we can see she develops maternal feelings for the girl. In the process, she also bonds with the rest of the team, although the portrayal of brotherhood lacks essence, to say the least. Later, Lilith destroys the communication device Atlas had given her, through which they could remain in contact. Despite this, the Mogul sends her a drone which contains a holographic projection message. He tells her he still intends to catch hold of Tina, but unfortunately, Tina herself overhears only the tail end of this conversation and naturally believes that Lilith has betrayed the team. She manages to incapacitate the bounty hunter, leaving her unconscious. They leave her and Claptrap behind and go on their way to open the vault. They insert the keys, and then Tina steps on the entrance. However, the vault doesn't open. Although puzzled at first, it's understood that Tina is not the daughter of Iridia and therefore has no power to open the vault. Just then, Atlas appears before them with his army, having witnessed everything. He feels like Tina has no purpose anymore, so he orders his men to kill her. However, Commander Knox refuses to comply and asks the men to stand down. This action doesn't go well with her boss, Atlas, who promptly gets rid of her. Backed into a corner, the team has no choice but to fight against the huge army that obviously has a huge advantage over them. Luckily, Lilith appears in the nick of time to threaten Atlas and his army. Then comes the climax. Lilith reveals that she's the real daughter of Iridia, who has the ability to open the vault. At this point, Tannis also connects the dots and realizes that Lilith's mother had sent her away so she would never have to open the vault, because doing so would kill her. As Lilith steps on the entrance, the vault actually does start opening up and she's lifted into the air while her body burns. And right then, climax number 2 pops up. Lilith doesn't die. Instead, it's revealed that she's also the ancient Iridian goddess Firehawk. Remember the picture she'd drawn earlier? And of course, Firehawk is destined to protect Pandora. Lilith can suddenly fly and sports really cool looking wings of fire, and she promptly gets to work. As violence and commotion ensues, Tina ends up getting thrown into the vault, but Lilith quickly swoops down to save her. She has a sort of protective fire aura which shields everyone from harm. However, Atlas isn't done and attacks her continuously. He also wears a device that activates a force field around him so that he doesn't get injured. In a final attempt, he takes Tina hostage and demands Lilith guide him into the vault, and she complies. The vault is filled with rocks that are radiating bright blue energy, and Atlas remarks how they're surrounded by the treasures and legacy of the people who used to rule over the galaxy. Of course, he plans to harness all of that power for himself. Lilith stealthily removes the device from Atlas that activates his defenses and weapons, and Tina's able to break free. While Lilith and Tina manage to escape, Atlas is seen being dragged down into the depths of the vault by a monster with tentacles. Well, it's not confirmed that he dies, you kinda have to assume so, considering he was completely defenseless. It's noteworthy to mention that in the games, this tentacled creature is the Destroyer. It's essentially an extra-dimensional being that can consume the whole universe if set free, and the Iridians actually perished while trying to imprison the creature in the vault. The movie doesn't really go into these details, however, it's just a weird monster in a box. In the last scene, the group stands on a rooftop enjoying the fireworks. All of Pandora is seen celebrating. Again, this isn't explicitly mentioned, but Atlas and his army had probably terrorized everyone on the planet for years, so his absence is worthy of celebration. Roland, Krieg, Tannis, and Claptrap go ahead to join the celebrations, while Lilith and Tina stay back. Tina asks her to turn into the Firehawk, and Lilith obliges, soaring through the skies alongside the fireworks. Now, an action movie like this usually comes with an after-credits scene, so we were enthusiastically waiting for one. Maybe Atlas would escape and swear revenge on Lilith and her allies. Maybe they'd introduce some of the characters from Borderlands 2. Well, the result was quite underwhelming. There is a post-credits scene, but all we see is Claptrap singing and dancing.
Who can open the vault?
Who is the main villain? Is he from the games or a new character? And that's all for most of the spoilers. Let's now talk about Atlas, the main villain of the movie. Deucalion Atlas is a business titan and arms manufacturer, and the main antagonist of the Borderlands movie. He's an original character in the film, as in the games, Atlas is the name of an interplanetary megacorporation that deals mainly in arms. The Atlas Corporation plays a significant role in the games, and the character may be inspired by the corporation. It's possible that the filmmakers wanted to have a central figure to represent the corporation and chose Atlas to be that person. In the trailer, Atlas is seen ordering his people to kill them all, which refers to Lilith and her crew. Considering that the group was hired by him in the first place to find his missing daughter, it's possible that he has nefarious plans for the girl. Therefore, Lilith and her crew end up protecting her from her father so that he can't access the power that she holds. Fans who've yet to watch the film believe that Ramirez's portrayal of Atlas will be a central point in the narrative of how well Borderlands does at the box office. Longtime fans of the games are seemingly puzzled about how the filmmakers will frame Atlas's character, as he doesn't appear in the original games. From what we presume, he'll pose a major threat to not just Lilith's group, but also the universe at large, considering his vast amount of power and resources. Many fans are excited to see if Atlas turns out to be a regular action film villain who just wants to acquire power, or if his ambitions are the result of deeper motivations. In most action superhero films, the villains have a clear-cut role of being the bad guys who just want to be powerful. However, some standout villains, like Thanos from the MCU, have reasons that went beyond the superficial wanting power. Given that Borderlands is set to be a generous mix of action and comedy, many fans are assuming that Atlas's character will probably be more of a conventional villain. When the film was announced, most fans of the game assumed the villain would be Handsome Jack, one of the biggest villains in the franchise. He eventually becomes the dictator of the planet Pandora, where the movie is largely set, so many fans expected to see him even in a smaller capacity. However, his character wasn't announced in the cast, so he's not featured at all. Considering he plays a significant role in Borderlands 2, his character could be brought in for the sequel. Some fans believe he's going to make a cameo appearance towards the end of the film, or he might be mentioned throughout the story. Well, you'll have to watch the film to see if that happens.
Time to make it rain with your body parts.
What is Atlas Corporation in the franchise? In the Borderlands game franchise, the Atlas Corporation supplies everything from arms to spaceships and basically plays an overarching role as a mega corporation. During the corporate wars, the company was still struggling and started to hire explorers from different parts of the galaxy to help them find alien technology. Typhon de Leon was one of these explorers who was a Pandora-born turd farmer. He had snuck onto a merchant ship bound for Promethea since he wanted to go on an adventure. It was largely due to the efforts of this man that a vault was discovered on Promethea at the Casmarian Quarry. Atlas Corporation handed Typhon a large sum of money in exchange for the vault key. As a result, Atlas began mining the vault and used Iridian technology to manufacture weapons and machine parts. They manufactured extremely agile, high-performance equipment and brought the company to the forefront of weapons manufacturing, landing them huge profits. The success of Atlas also inspired other corporations, such as Dahl, to explore planets in search of alien technology. However, it's hinted that not all the efforts were as successful as Atlas's. The Crimson Lance is the private militia of the Atlas Corporation in the games, and in the movie, the army takes orders from Atlas himself. In the games, they're shown to be very well trained and armed with the latest technology. The corporation uses the militia to help it gain access to the vault and gain an advantage over competitors. However, later it's hinted that the corporation has ended Lance's involvement in vault operations because they believe the vault doesn't exist at all. However, there is mention of the Lance army invading various towns and turning them into fiefdoms, which also makes them enemies of the Vault Hunters in the game. As the vault was finally discovered, the Atlas Corporation maintained an iron grip on Pandora and its resources, and also deployed lots of soldiers under the leadership of General Knox. Knox tried many times to kill the Vault Hunters, but eventually died. The character of Knox also appears in the movie, but is referred to as Commander instead of General, so it's unclear if they're actually the same character. Moreover, in the movie, Knox is killed by Atlas himself. In short, Atlas plays a significant role and maintains the status quo among various characters in the game. Since the film has created a character to possibly represent the corporation as a figurehead, it's assumed that Ramirez's Atlas will be the main man making all the decisions on behalf of the company. In the movie, Atlas is said to be the most powerful man in the universe, and his search for his missing daughter could be an attempt to further increase and consolidate his power. At first glance, it's not known what kind of power his daughter is carrying, but the most powerful guy across planets wants to get his hands on her. It must be pretty significant. Fans are also questioning how his daughter went missing in the first place. Was she abducted by a group or a person, or did she escape her father's grip on purpose? Deucalion Atlas as a character is a symbol of corporate greed, and that's a theme that Borderlands loves to explore.
There's only one of you in the world, and you're special.
Marvelous verdict! Expectations for Borderlands were pretty high due to the popularity of the video games and the stellar cast. Eli Roth has a track record of delivering good movies, so most people were hoping Borderlands would do well at the box office. However, there's already been a lot of criticism about the movie because fans think it's not going to live up to the hype that the games have produced. The character evolution of the main cast, along with the complex storytelling, could be really great or very poor. There's no shortage of action films in Hollywood, and while we love some punches and car chases, action without substance can really dampen the appeal that the games have created. Borderlands the movie has big shoes to fill because gamers are often the strictest critics. The question mark surrounding the character of Atlas is also confusing to many, although considering Edgar Ramirez's previous work, fans aren't entirely wrong in hoping for another top-notch performance. If the movie does well, it'll certainly pave the path for sequels in the future, where the Borderlands universe can be explored in even greater detail. Now, for our personal review of Borderlands, well, the word we would come up with would be unimpressive. There's absolutely no shortage of action, that's for sure. In fact, it's probably a little oversaturated with action. The characters are one-dimensional, and it's not that the actors did a bad job, but there's only so much acting that can save a haphazardly written script. We were expecting the Cate Blanchett from Thor Ragnarok, and while she seemed to enjoy the role, Lilith doesn't come close to Hela in any way. The pacing of the story is somewhat messy, and the whole point of the movie only seems to be building up to more action scenes. Borderlands is very different from the games, and while it remixes some characters from there, the overall execution lacks elegance. The lore behind the game remains the same essentially, but it feels like Eli Roth tried to create a starkly different universe in many other aspects, and that didn't blend well. The production design is commendable, however, and there are indeed a lot of similarities with the art style of the games. Other than that, if you're looking for about an hour and a half of rampant action and you don't mind a relatively shaky storyline, Borderlands could be a decent watch. Have you seen the movie yet? We want to know your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Is it good? Does it pass the low bar of video game action movies? Should there be a sequel? Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us. This is Wheezy249 signing off, but thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and have a marvelous day.